Good morning or afternoon, everybody. It's Mr. Olson here. I'm recording this video pretty early Tuesday morning because my landlord let me know late last night that they're going to have someone in the backyard installing a retaining wall. So they're going to be like jackhammering through concrete. Probably going to be pretty loud. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to teach live to you. So just in case, I'm going to record this video so that you can still get through the lesson on your own. And of course, I'll be available to answer. This really isn't how I prefer to do classes. And I'm sorry that this came up. In the future, there's really no reason we won't be live every single time we have class. But this kind of came out of nowhere. So I'm sorry about that. So to begin, open up the Google document inside of the assignment where you found this video. Once you're there, you'll see the do now question for the day. The do now question for today is, based on what you see, based on this picture, who do you think wears these shoes? What is this person like? What does this person do for a living? And why do you think this? 4 to 5 complete sentences. Just looking at these boots, based on what you see, who do you think wears these shoes? What do you think this person is like? What's their personality? And what does this person do for a living? What's their job? And why do you think this? All you've got is a pair of boots, but what kind of story can you tell about the person who wears these boots? 5 minutes, 4 to 5 complete sentences in the Google document, starting now. Obviously not going to be able to share out because we're not live, which is too bad. But what a lot of people brought up yesterday in my classes were things like a farmer or a gardener or a construction worker, because you would need those kind of shoes for those kinds of jobs. People brought up people that like to go hiking or people that are hardworking, people that do a good job at work. And this came from people's memories or thoughts about people that they know who wear these kinds of boots. So interesting how much of a story we can tell just with a picture. Our objective for the day is that students will be able to understand the difference between observations and inferences and practice making inferences about images and text. Sorry, my voice is a little froggy. I think it's from I slept with the window open and it's super smoky outside. So that's probably why I'm losing my voice. But we're going to go over these two new vocabulary terms of observation and inference and practice making them and telling them apart from one another with a bunch of different examples. So we've done our do now. Can't really do a share out, unfortunately, but we are going to jump into raffle spins. So this is how we're going to determine who won an award based on getting O-Bucks last week. And remember, we'll do as many spins as your class earned period points. But before we do that, I just wanted to bring up a couple of things that I noticed. First of all, if you were marked as not engaged last week, that is because you didn't turn in some of your work. We had kind of a decent number of people turning in the work. Is probably about 70% turning in the work, 30% not turning in the work. But if you're not turning in a handout, even if you are present for the day, if you don't turn in the handout, you're not going to be marked as engaged for the day. The other thing I've noticed is a lot of people completed the handout but didn't click turn in. For this time, I'm going to go through, I'm still going to grade those and give you credit, but in the future, I'm not going to go scrolling through all of the unsubmitted work to see if you've typed into it. You need to make sure that you're clicking that little blue box in the top right-hand corner of the screen that says turn in when you're done so that I know that you're ready for me to grade it. If you didn't turn anything in from last week, there's still time. It will be considered late. There will be some points deducted, but it's always better than nothing. All right, with that out of the way, we're going to go ahead and jump into our wheel spins. So let's see how many period points period 4 got last week. So period 4, pretty nice, 3 period points. You're tied up with period 6, a little bit behind period 3. They have the most at 4 points, but that means that for now, we get to do 3 wheel spins. I've got everybody's name in here that was given a O-Buck last Thursday for being excellent in class. And we're just going to go see what happens. So we'll spin the wheel 3 times. If you win, get in touch with me or wait till next class. We can talk about it then. You get to choose either to be our DJ, to be getting a positive phone call home, or to have that late work pass so you don't have to turn things in on Friday. First off, we got Julian. Nice work, Julian, contributing to class. Let me know what you would like as your reward. Next, we got Kimberly. Congratulations, Kimberly. Thanks for being in the chat. Answering questions. Excellent stuff. Let me know what you would like for your reward. All right, last but not least. We got Tavion. Tavion, nice work. Seeing you in the chat, answering those questions, participating. Love it. I know what you would like. So let's see how many period points period 5 earned last week. Looks like, all right, so we're tied up with period 2 at one point. Big reason for that was a lot of people just not turning in their work last week in period 5. It was about like 50-50 for period 5. Other classes were more like 70%, 30%, 70% turning in their work, 30% not. So hopefully we can see that number get up hopefully we can see that number go up this week so that we can earn those period points and get more spins for next week. I've copied the name of everybody that got an O-Buck into this wheel of names. We'll spin it once, and whoever it lands on will get to choose an award. Either getting to be class DJ, getting that positive phone call home so I can hype you up, or getting that late work pass so that you don't have to turn things in on Friday if you don't want to. It is Teani. Mariah, so close. Teani, you are the winner. Thank you for participating in chat and answering questions. Let me know what you would like as your reward. All right, let's take a look at how many period points period 6 earned for last week. So period 6 looking pretty good, tied for second with period 4, both a little bit behind period 3. 3 period points, that's great. That means you were right there with period 4 for turning in work and people being present during last week's class, which is excellent. So I've copied the name of everyone who earned an O-Buck into this wheel of names. We got a lot of people. And because we have 3 period points, we're going to get 3 spins. So whoever the wheel lands on will get to choose whether they want that positive phone call home, whether they want to create a playlist for us to listen to in class, or if they want to get that late work pass so that they don't have to turn things in on Friday, they can wait till Monday if they want to. Here we go. First off, we have Isis. Congratulations, Isis. Thank you for participating in the chat, answering questions. Let me know what you would like your reward to be. Let's go again. Samaya, so close. Next up, we got Samantha. Congratulations, Samantha. You know, you would like your reward to be. And last but not least, Demetrius, so close. We've got Sasha. Congratulations. Let me know what you would like your reward to be. If we get to be live this morning, I really hope we'll still get to be live. We'll see how noisy it is. We were going to play some 20 questions, but for now, obviously, we can't do that. So let's get into the lesson. I'm going to start by going to that Google document and copying down the definitions in red of these new terms that we're going to be using a lot throughout the year: observation and inference. So you should write down that an observation is what you have heard, seen, or read. And an inference is making conclusions or assuming something based on what you have heard, seen, or read. Go ahead and pause the video while you write those definitions down. Don't answer the question just yet. Just copy the definitions down for now. So earlier during your do now, you already made some observations and you made some inferences, right? We looked at the boots, and what could we see? We saw that they were boots. We saw that they were a little worn out. We saw that they were dirty. We saw that they were outside on concrete. Those are observations. Those are just things that we see. We're not telling a story. We're not using those observations for anything. We're just seeing. That's it. The inference, though, the conclusion or assumption or the story that we tell based on what we observe, is everything else that you wrote. It's what their job is, what they're like, whether or not they like their job. Any of the details that you included when you were telling me about the person who wore these boots, those are all inferences. With that in mind, let's take a look at number 3 in the observation versus inference box. It says, 2 people are looking at a painting in a museum. The painting is of a man frowning. One of the people turns to the other and says, "That man is sad." Has this person made an observation or an inference? Why? I'm going to give you a minute to think about and answer that question. What I want to know is, when this person says, That man is sad. He's looking at the painting, sees the picture of the man frowning, and he says, that man is sad. Is this an observation, something that you see and don't make any assumptions about? Or is it an inference? Is the person using the observation that they've made to make an inference, to tell a story, to make an assumption? 1 minute. What I want to know is it an observation or an inference? So people were getting tripped up on this yesterday. A lot of people said that this was an observation. It's not. It's actually an inference. The observation is that the man is frowning, right? I was just frowning. I'm not sad, right? You assume you see someone frowning that they're probably sad, but you don't really know. You're telling a story, you're making a conclusion or an assumption based on the observation that you've made. So seeing the man frowning, that's the observation. Saying then that that means the man is sad, that is the inference. So we're gonna watch a quick video. There's some questions to answer about what happens. It's only 2 minutes long, but it packs a whole lot of information. It doesn't have dialogue, nobody's talking. It doesn't really have words written anywhere. It's just a bunch of movement and drama. So what I want you to do is think, what is this man's job? You're gonna see a guy driving around. I wanna know what's his job and what makes you think that. Then there's gonna be this octopus that sort of comes into the movie and encounters the man, runs into the man. How does it seem like the octopus feels about this dude? How do you know? What makes you think that? And then finally, what is this place like? This place where the story takes place? What's the weather usually like there? And how can you tell? We're thinking, how do we make observations? And then how do we use that to make inferences? Okay, nice. Okay, let's take a look at these questions. So first of all, what is the man's job? What does it seem like the man does? How do you know? What makes you think that that's his job? So this is a question about an inference. The movie never tells us what his job is, but we probably do notice some details that help us answer that question, right? We probably notice that he drives a truck around. You may have noticed that his truck has a picture of octopuses on the side with like knives across it. So it's probably fair for us to assume or infer, make the inference that his job is to deliver octopodes to a butcher shop. a restaurant. So we make the observation, and you probably were able to answer this first question right off the bat, right? The second question is actually usually what's a little bit harder. We make inferences all at the time. We don't always necessarily know what observations are making us make the assumptions that we make. That's kind of what we want to do in this class, is slow down and not make judgments so quickly and think, okay, well, what am I responding to? Why do I really think this? Go ahead and take care of 3, 4, and 5 on your own. Okay, for these next 3 images, I want you to take a look at the picture. And for each picture, I want you to make 3 observations so that you can answer this inference question. These people are most likely ... Who? Try to make it really, really simple. Don't jump to conclusions. Don't make assumptions. Just tell me what you see. So what are your observations? And what inference can you make about who these people most likely are? So what I see here is 2 people in suits. CNN is written on the wall behind them. They're standing at podiums and they're kind of facing each other. That's what I see. I'm going to infer that these men are on the news in some way because they are standing in front of a logo that says CNN. I know that CNN is a news network. Probably they're on the news. They're facing each other, which makes it seem like they're talking to each other or debating each other. And they're wearing suits, so I'm assuming this is like a pretty formal thing. So based on this, I'm going to assume that these people are most likely politicians. They're dressed up because they want to look nice. They're debating each other because they want to show who's right and who's wrong. And it's being shown on the news because CNN is in the background. Pretty powerful inference. Let's do the same for images 2 and 3. Make 3 observations and try to answer the question, who is the man in the middle? The man in the middle is most likely... You're going to know right off the top of your head. What I want to know is, what are you noticing that makes you think that? And finally, number 3, what is this a painting of? Again, you're going to know it right off the top of your head, but what I want to know is, what are the observations that you're making, even if you're not aware of making those observations, that cause you to make that inference? All right, y'all, we're nearly there. I know this is a lot of work, but this is kind of an introduction to the work that we're going to be doing all year, making inferences, defending them with observations. It's kind of the bread and butter of English class. So we're going to take a look at some examples that are written, and then you're going to answer the same question for all 3 of them. Just, where is this happening? Where is this story, this little description happening, and why do you think that? Number 1, I was allowed to push the cart. The front left wheel was broken, so the cart wobbled down each aisle. Mother put various packages and boxes in the cart, but I didn't notice. I was trying to keep the cart going straight as it got heavier and heavier. I'll go ahead and do this one. I think that this is taking place at a supermarket. That's an inference, right? There's nothing in this that says we were at the supermarket or we were at discount grocery, or there's no specific mention of where this is taking place, but there's a lot of clues, right? I was allowed to push the cart. Usually, if you're at the grocery store, you need a cart if you're getting more than a couple of things. Front left wheel was broken. I've been there. Terrible thing. It's always like making that horrible like screeching noise, and it's not, yeah, it won't go straight. So the cart's wobbling down each aisle. Supermarkets generally have a lot of aisles, right? The mother's putting various packages and boxes in the cart. That's what you do at the store, right? So my inference is that this is taking place at the supermarket, but this could be taking place lots of different places. It's probably definitely a store, right? It could be Home Depot. It could be Target. It doesn't have to be the grocery store. That's just the story that I told. No inference is going to be perfect because it's all based on assumption. You notice the details, but we are still making an assumption. Let's check out number 2 and number 3. Number 2. As we entered, a large blast of water hit the windshield. Huge flopping sponges began to slap at the hood as we slowly moved forward. Soon there were suds spilling over the sides. I was glad the windows were rolled up. Where is this taking place? What's your inference about where this is taking place? And what are you observing? What are you reading? What details are you seeing that make you think that that's the right answer? Same thing for number 3. The water felt so good on such a hot day. I heard the other children laughing and yelling across the way. The concrete was wet from a group of teenagers splashing each other in the corner. The lifeguard watched closely to keep children from running. Where do you think this is taking place? What makes you think that? All right, here's our exit ticket. Time to wrap up. What I want to know, based on this image, 3 observations and 1 inference. Who are these people? What do you think their job is? How wealthy or rich do you think these people are, or not rich these people are? 3 observations, and then make an inference about one of those questions. Either who these people are, what their job is, and how wealthy or rich these people are. Okay, y'all, that's it for me today. I recognize that was a lot of work. That's a pretty tough lesson. If you found it easy, awesome. If you were a little bit confused, don't worry. We're still going to be working with inferences and observations throughout the whole year. So if you didn't get it this time, not a big deal. I'm hoping that you won't even need to see this video because there won't be a crazy amount of noise in my backyard, but I wanted to make sure that there was something that you could use to get through the lesson if I can't be there. So if you're seeing this, thanks for being patient with me. Thanks for sticking through it and getting through the work. And I am still available all day if you have questions for me. So please do let me know. All right, y'all, take care.